Hello, everyone. Welcome to Believe in Your Love Language Boundary Setting for You. If at any time during the panel you have a question, please add it in the chat. If you feel that you are in a crisis, email teenseen@padv.org to be connected with the Care Bear. I'm excited to welcome our PADV Teen Dating Violence Prevention interns, Jordan Easterling and Lydia Knowles.
Hi, everyone. Sorry you can't see me, but this is Jordan Easterling speaking. We're going to start this workshop, and this workshop is on the 5 love languages and how they impact our relationships. We hope relationship tools and self-awareness on your love language. So please note, this is a safe space. Please feel free to ask any questions and interact in the chat box. If you feel you need to talk to anyone, there will be PADV staff you can reach out to in a private chat. Hey, Lydia, you can...
Yes. To begin, we're going to take a little test. I'm going to drop the link in the chat box in case you are unable to scan the QR code with your phone camera. But for this test, I just want you to take this test. It's really short. It'll take only like 5 minutes or so. And it's just to get like a general understanding of what your love language is, and where you, and then so you can like learn like other things about the other love languages.
Yep, so just take a few minutes, go ahead and scan the barcode there, or Lydia has dropped the link in the chat, and you guys can use that to access the quiz. It'll take about 5 minutes, and just kind of be honest in your answers. That way you can figure out the best, or your love language, and be able to understand how you interpret love and how you process love. This will also help, understand the rest of our PowerPoint, and also teach you a little bit more about yourself. And me and Lydia have actually already taken the test, so we're going to talk a little bit while you guys are taking your test about what our love languages look like. So Lydia, do you want to discuss what your love languages came out to be from the test?
I've taken the test a few times, and my love languages have always come out to be, with the top being the acts of service, which means that I feel love when someone takes time out of their day to ease my workload, or they help me with any of my chores or any of my like errands. I feel most loved when they love me through by asking me if there's anything that I need to get done that they can do for me.
Yeah, so I think you mentioned a good point, is that you took it multiple times, and I think that that's important because obviously as we grow and change as people, our love can kind of adjust. And I think that whenever I was younger, my love language looked a lot different than it does now. But for my love language, it came out to be also as well acts of service. So like Lydia was saying, I really enjoy when people ask me if they can help me in any type of way. I'm a very busy person. I stay very busy all the time. And so whenever people can help me take any kind of workload off, it always is beneficial to me. And then also, and like very closely to my acts of service. So my acts of service came out to be about 33%. And then right underneath that was 30% of quality time. So almost exactly do I value acts of service. I also value quality time. And so ways that I feel loved is when people, give me their undivided attention. That means not being on their phones or being involved in other things or making other plans while we're in a plan. I really enjoy being able to have like genuine quality time. And I think that that can be, through a lot of relationships. It can be my personal relationship with my partner. It can also be through with my family. I really enjoy like quality family time, as well as my friends. I usually get together with my friends a lot, and we have a lot of really great quality time moments together. And so understanding your love language is important, just as important as understanding your partner's love language. Understanding your love language helps you to understand what boundaries you like, what things you dislike, and ultimately helps you communicate to your partner about how you feel you want to be loved and how you feel, what makes you feel best. So go ahead and put down in the chat box if you have finished your quiz.
Quality time is a really great one. I love quality time. I know a lot of people whose acts of service is quality time, and they absolutely love spending time with their friends, their partners. They really enjoy having that time with their loved ones.
Alrighty. Lydia, did we get some answers in the chat box?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. You'll have to just kind of tell me because I can't see the chat box on my screen. Okay, so good. So we're going to go on and we're going to talk a little bit about what are the 5 love languages. So acts of service, receiving gifts, physical touch, quality time, and then also words of affirmation. All right, and Lydia, I'll let you explain this one.
Acts of service, as I said before, is my love language. And it's all about how your actions speak louder than words. Acts of service basically boils down to doing something for your partner or friends or anyone to help like ease their day, take any workload off. And this could like very like easily look like in school, helping to decorate their locker, carrying their bag for them, and then helping them study for a test. And then like for friends, it could also look like the same thing. And then inside your house, it could look like helping finish a chore or like helping to like do anything like that. And so with that in mind, if you can think of any like acts of service that you do now or that have been done for you, just put them in the chat.
Yeah, and I know, so for the acts of service, some things that you can try if your partner is has like the love language of acts of service, you can try to follow through with what you say that you will do. That really makes them feel loved and secure, and it doesn't make them question, if your words don't mean anything because they have the actual act behind it. And things you want to avoid with this type of love language is ignoring requests for help. And sometimes the requests aren't 100% clear, so you want to make sure that you ask for good communication between you and your partner. And like an example of that could be someone says, "Oh, my book bag is just a mess. I really need to organize it." So one way that you could offer an act of service there is say, "Hey, maybe I can help you clean out your book bag later." And that would be a really great way of showing that you want to help them in such a minor little thing, and that would show that would show them love through you doing an act of service for them. Also, communicating that with them helps for them to set boundaries. So maybe they don't feel comfortable with you helping them clean their book bag, and that would give them the space to be able to say, "Hey, and I don't really, thanks for offering, but I don't really want you to." So it's all about communication within each love language. Alrighty. So receiving gifts is the second love language. And for receiving gifts, this is the visual symbols of love, the actual physical symbols of love. So gifting your partner a gift has little to do with monetary or the money value. It's the thoughts and emotions that are gained from receiving a gift. So this could be, maybe your partner gets you a new bag or shoes, or they make you a little DIY, such as like a picture book or a date jar, or maybe even paint you a picture And then also it could be personal and memorable items. Like, so maybe you got a gift from your mother that was your grandmother's like old necklace or something. And then also like little, or maybe you mentioned that you really liked something at the store, and then they remember and get it for you. Those are all kind of examples of how gift giving can, or the act of giving a gift is. And then also for things that you could try to bring a souvenir back from whenever you travel without them. That would show that you were thinking about them while you were gone. And then also try to avoid, with this love language, try to avoid forgetting special occasions. So maybe putting in notes in your phones about special occasions that you guys have together. It really shows this person that has the love language of receiving gifts. It shows them that you really love and care about them whenever you remember those special occasions and give them gifts. So you can put in the chat box, what was one of your favorite gifts you received? This could be from your family or your friends or even your partner. So I know, like for me personally, I received a old typewriter, and I really enjoy that from my mother. And that's something that I value and I thought was really nice of her to give me. Lydia, do you have any favorite gifts that you've ever gotten?
Yeah. The favorite gift I've gotten was also from my mom. It was my necklace that has been passed down in my family for generations, and it really made me feel very loved and appreciated.
That's awesome. I know we have a couple of things like that in our family that have been passed down. Alrighty, and so then we're going to go on to the next love language, which is going to be physical touch. And Lydia, I'll let you touch on this one.
Okay. So physical touch is all about nonverbal touch-based affection. It's when touch is incredibly affirming to you, and it serves as an emotional connector. Some examples could be hugging, holding hands, kissing, cuddling, or just like putting your arm around someone. So with this, you could definitely try putting your arm around someone, and then you can also try like even just like small little like pats on the back. And then people with these love languages would love it if it was avoided, if there were like long times without hugging. So just put in the chat if you love hugs or don't, or if touch is one of your love languages.
Yeah, and then also, it's good to mention some boundaries with this love language. Obviously, boundaries apply in all aspects of our lives, but with love language, or with the physical touch love language, it's important to talk about boundaries and how good communication is needed for physical touch. Obviously, you don't want to overstep anyone's boundaries with physical touch, as that's something personal to each person, and it's important to communicate with your partner, or it could even be something like discussing with your friends that maybe you don't really like to be touched, or you don't really like to have hugs. I know for me personally, I'm a hugger. I always love to hug my friends, but it is important, even though I enjoy to give hugs, to always make sure that I'm making other people feel comfortable and not kind of forcing myself on them just because it's something that I enjoy. And that's something that can just easily be communicated just with a little brief conversation saying, hey, do you, maybe you got some little indicators that maybe they don't like to be hugged. You can just say, hey, do you not like to be hugged? Or, is there something that, I did that maybe made you feel uncomfortable? It's just little conversations like that help to make sure that you're setting boundaries for yourself and also for the people around you, so that other people can make those decisions for themselves. Alrighty. So then we're going to go into quality time. So quality time is spending time with your partner with undivided attention. As I stated, this was one of my love languages, and it's a strong desire to spend time and have meaningful conversations, and also just enjoy your partner's presence and share recreational activities together. This could look like actively listening to your partner. So actively listening to your partner means, you don't have other distractions. You're actively listening to them. You're being intentional about what they're saying, and you're kind of understanding what they're saying instead of just letting it go in one ear and out the other. And then also, for you can also have good eye contact. That's also a good sign. And then no distractions such as phones, work, homework, etc. And then doing activities together, such as painting or playing games, or maybe you go to, go out together, maybe to the mall or something. And so what is one thing that you love to do with your family or partner that makes you happy? Just throw that down in the chat box real quick, and then Lydia will see and throw out some of those ideas that you guys have that are some activities that you guys love to do. And so with this, while you guys are putting that in the chat box, something to think about with this love languages, you can try to create small moments to connect. And so, obviously, since we've been in quarantine, if you have a partner, you can even take time to FaceTime them uninterrupted. So taking, even just a 5-minute call and saying, hey, what's going on? How are you doing? And so and then also you can, if you're in school and you're taking a lunch break, you can maybe take 15 minutes of your lunch and just go spend it with your partner. That will show them that you genuinely love them, or you care about them, and you want to spend some time with them. And then things to avoid with this love language are viewing your partner as needy. So a lot of times with this love language, people think that the partner is needy because they're needing or they're wanting quality time. Well, in reality, that makes the other person feel unvalidated in their feelings. And also, it's not a healthy trait to have. So you can think of whenever you're in class, maybe whenever you raise your hand over and over again to ask questions, but your teacher might not be answering your question fully. And then you kind of feel a little awkward because you keep asking these questions. That makes you feel a little unvalidated in your feelings. And, it's the same thing whenever your partner views you as needy. It feels like you don't really want to ask for much whenever they make you feel as if you're kind of a burden on them. So with quality, if somebody has the love language of quality time, you want to make sure that you avoid, viewing them as needy or saying, you're a little needy. Try just creating those small moments to connect, even if it's just a quick 5-minute call that's undivided. Okay, and so Lydia, you can explain the words of affirmation.
Finally, words of affirmation is one of my favorite love languages, even though it's not my love language. But it's about verbal acknowledgement of affection. It's basically, it's little things like saying, I'm proud of you, I love you, I believe in you, thank you for always being there for me. They're how you express your words through, it's how you express your love through words, and how you express how much you care for your partner or friends or family through your words. And there is an emotional gain from feeling from feeling like you are loved and appreciated. Personally, I love being told that someone is proud of me. It makes me feel super good. It makes me feel very much loved and appreciated. And I know so many people who love hearing that someone's proud of them, that they're loved, that their actions are loved. So what are some words that make you feel good? And what are some words that make you smile almost immediately and make you feel super loved?
Yeah, so I agree with you, Lydia. Especially within my job and my kind of educational life, I really enjoy words of affirmation. It makes me feel like I am valued in my job and also valued in what I'm doing for the work that I provide. So I really enjoy when people tell me, hey, you're doing really good, or hey, I'm really proud of you. Those are things that I love. And like you said, it's not my love language, but I really enjoy that love language. And some things that you can try with this love language is leaving your partner, or even honestly your friends, encouraging notes. encouraging notes go a long way. And I know I left my mother a little note one time whenever I visited her back at home. And I went there years later and found it on her desk. So it's like, those little tiny words of affirmation and of love go a long way. And it just takes 2 seconds to write a little sticky note. And then whenever you talk about this love language for the words of affirmation, you want to try to avoid assuming that they know that they are loved or that you're proud of them. So assuming that they know that they're loved means that there's lack of communication there. And a lot of times, you can think, well, I do feel I am loved, but it's nice to hear that you're loved. It's nice to hear that you're appreciated. It goes a long way. All righty. And Lydia, let's take over this chat time.
So for this chat time, I would really appreciate it if you guys just told us, like, how do these love languages show up in your life? They don't have to be all of them, but at least, like, how does at least one of these love languages show up in your life? And also, like, which one shows up in your life more than the others? For instance, words of affirmation shows up a lot in my life because of my friends and my family. We always tell each other that we appreciate each other. We always tell each other that we are very proud of each other. And also, acts of service shows up a lot for me personally because I'm the kind of person who does things for other people. I like to take over people's chores whenever they're not feeling up to them. I like to do errands for other people.
Yeah, and let's just hear like some of you guys's ways of that love languages show up in your lives. It can be something personal, or it can be something that maybe you just notice that happens in your lives. So I know that for me, I am a gift giver. I love giving people gifts. I think that that's like my way of showing people love. And so I know that I'm always giving people giving people gifts, and I love making them like personal. That's like one thing that I just really enjoy doing. And then also for quality time, I really enjoy like setting up like little maybe weekend trips with some friends and enjoying that quality time with them. I'm super big into taking like little weekend trips, and I love that quality time that I get with my friends. So do we have any answers in the chat box there?
Yeah, I really agree with you. Gift giving is a really great it is a really great love language. My grandma has that love language, and every time I see her, she has some like handmade card with her to give us.
I love that. I always take my grandmother flowers and other little gifts too, because she always loves that. So is there anything that people put in the chat box that we can maybe just mention out and say how they experience love languages in their lives?
We have words of affirmation and also physical touch, which I haven't really seen a lot of.
Yeah,
I think like physical touch, I feel like it's a love language that so many people have, but also like so many people don't have. And it's such an interesting love language to me because I know that my little brother has that love language, and it's so obvious. He's always going into like give someone a hug whenever they're feeling sad. His like first reaction is to like ask if anyone needs a hug or anything.
Yeah, I love that. I think that physical touch can definitely be a very versatile love language, and something that a lot of people do have. And like you said, a lot of people sometimes just don't really necessarily like it, but it's definitely one that I like. So we're going to move on from the chat time, and we're going to talk about something that's really important when we talk about love languages. It's really important that we understand what is boundaries. And so me and Lydia are kind of going to just bounce off some of these words and talk about what these words mean whenever we think of the word boundaries. And so I'll just kind of start us off, and we'll kind of go back and forth. But so consent is very important when we talk about boundaries, and boundaries can be within any love language there is. So consent is saying, hey, I do want you to do this, and not consenting would be saying, hey, I don't really want you to do this. I don't really like when you do that. And then, yeah.
Comfortable. A big boundary would be like setting times of like when things should be finished or when things like should be like completed, but it can also be about like feeling comfortable in how our arguments are handled, and how words are given, and how even in how one is like touched or anything.
Right. And I think that, the setting those boundaries is intended to make you comfortable. And then also boundaries are personal. So they can be, each person has their own boundaries, right? So we make our own boundaries and we understand ourselves through making those boundaries, and they're very personal to us. And I think that I'll kind of bounce off that just real quick, but respect. So we have to respect other people's boundaries, right? And then what are some other words that you see here, Lydia, that we could talk about?
Distance, definitely, especially with love languages like quality time. Not everyone has that. Not everyone is as comfortable with spending a lot of time with someone. Your partner or friends may need some space sometimes, and then that's just something that needs to be spoken about with boundaries of like when can we spend time with each other, and then when do you need that distance for yourself.
Right. And then also understanding people's love languages are important to help, kind of understand how your partner feels loved and understand how you feel loved. And it's important to note that these are always changeable. As I mentioned before, my love language when I was a lot younger was different. And it's important to maybe just take that quick assessment, maybe every couple years, and just understand yourself and kind of be honest with yourself about how you want to be loved. That way you can set those boundaries and you can set those expectations. As you can see there, those expectations for what you feel you deserve, and what your partner may feel, or understanding what your partner expects from you. And so those are just some words that we have here that are basically discussing what those boundaries are. So we're going to go on and we're going to talk about healthy relationships. So what are healthy relationships, and what do they look like? So what do they look like? And y'all have heard about the red flags of like relationships and what's going on. So what about the green flags? What do green flags of a healthy relationship look like? So I can say, they honor your boundaries, they support your personal growth. You don't want someone that is kind of putting you down and not letting you grow as a person. Also, communicate openly. That means, not making you feel bad about the way that you communicate, not making you feel like you're walking on eggshells constantly, or that you have to say something a certain way just to kind of make them happy. So, being able to communicate openly and honest with that person. Practicing self-care. So you definitely want someone that's going to practice self-care. You want people that are going to grow and be conscious of their self. And then also showing vulnerability. Vulnerability is not a bad thing in a relationship. It's definitely something that you want to look for in people. Vulnerability is, opening up to someone, being really honest and open to someone is important. And then also having healthy hobbies. You want to have someone that has healthy hobbies and someone that, is taking care of themselves. That way they can take care of you. So we're going to look into the Healthy Relationships Toolbox, and it's 5 easy tools.
The first one is respect. With this, it's super important to be able to say what you do think without being made fun of, or your like opinion causing an argument. You shouldn't have to choose between your partner and your hobbies or like interests. You should both be able to respect each other's time, and then like make time for each other. And then you have to like allow each other to have time for homework, chores, or like other like activities. Number 2 is communication. You should be able to talk about like disputes or like arguments without yelling, without physical force, without silent treatments. And when there's good communication, your relationship in your relationship, your partner and then you listen to each other and then work through problems together. Your communication with each other should be assertive, where you can look each other in the eye and then like say what you mean, and then like tell the truth without being aggressive.
Alrighty. And so then 3 is the self-esteem. So self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. And, do you have high self-esteem? Do you have low self-esteem? Do you think you're a good person? If you do, then you probably have high self-esteem. And then boundaries as well. So in a relationship, you have to decide what you want if you want someone to touch you or get close to you, as we just spoke about. And then also equality. So shared power. When you both feel important in a relationship, then there's equality. You should both have your own goals and dreams in your future. You should also support your partner's dreams, and they should do the same for you. And then we're going to talk about filling your love tank. So understanding your partner's love language helps to fill their love tank, and them understanding your love language helps for them to fill your love tank. And that's important because it's important to comprehend how the love that you give is impacting your partner, and the love that they're giving, how that impacts you as a person. And you definitely want to strive to always fill their love tank as well as getting that back. Not understanding that you don't have to stay in a relationship that isn't fulfilling your love tank. So that goes into Lydia. You can talk about exiting a relationship that doesn't suit your love language.
Exiting a relationship that doesn't suit your love language is super hard. And you might like feel all these feelings that are super weird, but also like super normal, such as heartbreak, happiness, confusion, and sadness. You might feel super confused because you did actually like and care for the person, but the way they were loving you did not fill your love tank. They didn't fill you with any happiness or anything. And then on the flip side, you might feel happiness because this gives you the chance to talk to someone who may love you in a way that fills your love tank and makes you feel heard and listened to and satisfied in the way that you want to be loved.
Right. And then, just understanding that you don't have to stay because you love them, and understanding that ending relationships are not easy, of course, but you have to do what's best for you. So if you guys want to learn anything more about love languages, here are some books that you guys can read. The five Love Languages by Gary Chapman is a great book. I have read that one multiple times, as well as the other ones. And then we want to open up to Q&As. If you guys have any, drop them in the chat box real quick, and we can answer a few of them. And then also, thank you so much. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Lydia will be looking at them, and we can answer any questions that you guys have. Again, this is a safe space. Feel free to ask any questions that you guys may have.
That's the question. Can your love language change as you get help for trauma? I personally think that it can. I think I've also had experience with this. I think that's why my love language changed. I think my love language used to be really intensely physical touch, and then like as I grew up and I went to therapy, my love language changed a lot as I learned how to like assert boundaries with myself, and then I learned how and then I learned that like a lot of my love language came from traumatic responses. So yes, it can definitely change as you get help for trauma.
Right. And even, thanks for being open and transparent about your experience. But, even for me as well, I used to have, words of affirmation as a love language as well. But then after, not being proved of those words and going through something where I felt, those words were not meaning anything, my love language definitely changed into, acts of service. Sorry, guys. So yeah, my love language definitely turned into acts of service because then it was showing the actions behind the words. And then we're going to go ahead and have Allison conclude for us. And thank you guys so much for you guys' time and for listening in with us. We really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for leading this workshop. We hope everyone here feels secure to take today's information and bring it back to your community to end dating violence. If you have further questions for our facilitator today, you can reach out to us at teenseen@padv.org. That's the link I put earlier in the chat to receive their contact information. Now we are going to take a brief 5-minute intermission to use the bathroom, stretch, and maybe get a snack. ACT workshops will open in 5 minutes in the session area. Thank you, everyone.